Good evening. Welcome in, Mizzou fans. Gabe DeArmond here with you. PowerMizzou.com. PowerMizzou.com. I can't talk. I've been talking for an hour already. Here on the Bruning Law Firm basketball postgame show. Our postgame shows all year long. We're not doing them after every game, but we are doing them after some games and after big games. Brought to you by the Bruning Law Firm. If you want a free consultation with the wonderful folks, AJ and his brothers, huge Mizzou fans, big supporters of Power Mizzou, you can get in touch with them at 573-400-2796 for any of your personal injury needs. Somebody has done you wrong, you can make sure to get in touch with the folks at the Bruning Law Firm in St. Louis. They'll serve Missouri, Illinois, and Kansas. Data plus experience, a smarter approach, better results. Once again, 573-400-2796. The way to get in touch with them. Missouri tonight, an 88-67 winner to start the basketball season over Howard University. Appreciate you guys joining us. Don't know how many people we'll have. Little different schedule tonight, but we'll hang out here for a while with you guys. Comments in the chat. We've got a few voicemails. We'll get to all those. But the first thing we have to do is bring in Mizzou basketball celebrity Drew King. Was on the broadcast frequently tonight, was on the radio broadcast. Drew, how's what is it, Burr Arena maybe?
It is Burr Arena. I'm not so sure about being a Mizzou basketball celebrity, but it's a decent little stadium. I gotta say.
I think cozy would be a good word
for
it.
Yeah, that is a good word for it. It's
I mean, look, we talked all along. This was kind of a weird game. We know Dennis Gates had reasons for scheduling it and all that, but kind of a weird game. And I don't think it got any less weird playing it. I have to tell you, Drew, if you have ESPN Plus, the first thing you have to do when you get home is watch this broadcast. I can't really do it justice.
I'll have to get on that. But, from my vantage point, I was on the baseline for the game, and
in just a standing chair.
Yeah, I had to steal a chair from Howard's trainer. I felt bad, but yeah, interesting atmosphere. Like there was a good contingent of Mizzou fans here, so it wasn't as hostile as a typical road game, I feel like. And I'm a little congested, so I can't breathe right now. But yeah, I thought that Mizzou got out of this game what it was hoping to. But I don't know that it got out much more than that.
Well, Scott Fitz said some of the players looked as bored as he was watching it. What did they hope to get out of this? Because from what I could tell, they played everybody. That seems to be about it.
So this is kind of what I'm going to write about, which is there was that one point in the second half where it did get a little bit interesting. Howard went on a 14-5 run. They cut the lead in half down to single digits, right? They have some momentum on their side. The crowd's getting loud for them. I think that was the moment that Dennis Gates was looking for, was let's just give Mizzou a little bit of taste of adversity. How do they react to it? And they passed the test.
Mm-hmm. Is Sean Phillips, is this who he is? He's going to shoot 89% from the field and have a double-double in 20 minutes every night?
Great question. Dennis Gates said he thought Sean Phillips should have had 15 rebounds tonight, so he's not too pleased with just 11. But we've said all along, Sean Phillips looks like one of the best athletes that's come through here for a while. He looks like one of the best big men that's come through here for a while. And so when he's playing guys that are only coming up to his shoulders, that's the kind of performance you want to see from him, right? There's going to be nights where he goes up against bigger players, and it's not going to look like this, I think. But, man, he is big, and he is athletic, and he really helped out the team tonight. I thought he was the best player on the court in this game.
Yeah. Missouri played much of this game without, Anthony Robinson and Mark Mitchell combined for 4 points at halftime. I know they ended up with 7 and 12. I guess, do you look at that more as hey, good deal. They still won fairly easily on the road, and their two best players did virtually nothing most of the night? Or is that like, hey, you guys are going to have to be a lot better for this team to be good?
Oh no, like that's going to be the expectation for Ant Robinson and Mark Mitchell moving forward. Is just 1 for 6 from the field, uh, 1 for 4 from the free throw line. No, like those are the two best players on the team, right? We should expect better days from both of them. And I think it was just kind of an off night. By the way, I said it was an off night to Dennis Gates. He said there's no off nights when it's a win. So um, he did say though.
As the lone representative of the Mizzou media contingent, I applaud you for still managing to cross Dennis Gates somehow in the postgame press conference.
Thank you. No, but he said he felt like Ant and Mark were kind of deferring to their teammates more tonight, and maybe that had something to do with it. But the big red flag for me was just like the sheer amount of turnovers that the team had as a whole, right? And Ant Robinson had 3, Sean Phillips had 6, Jaden Stone had 3. Like that's kind of what kept Howard in the game for a while. Was Mizzou didn't do that well of a job handling the press.
Yeah, want to get into some of the things the chat is asking, because we're not going to keep you here for a long time. You got work to do, and there's music playing and all that. Luther Burden wants to know what's Dennis going to do with the rotation. First of all, what did he say about Trent Pearson on our Boateng? I mean, I'm sure I know what he said, but what did he say?
So he actually said Pierce should be back next game.
Okay.
And then Honor Boateng, he said it was an injury that came up during the exhibition against Kansas State. They're still kind of evaluating him and held him out as a precaution. They're going to try to figure it back out when they get back to Columbia. But like I saw Honor Boateng tonight, he didn't have any kind of like cast on, no wraps. He wasn't limping at all. So I think he's going to be okay. I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about.
So I would assume, as far as the rotation goes, look, I think when Pierce is back, it's probably Luke Northweather's minutes that suffer. What about Boateng? I mean, is he just kind of added and he just takes minutes from here and there, do you think? Because I don't think anybody else really played tonight that won't be in the regular rotation.
Yeah, excuse me. I think we'll see more guys play in the teens of minutes rather than 20 plus minutes. Because I'm looking at the stat sheet. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys play 20 minutes. It'll probably be more like 3, and then getting everybody else involved, because you got to factor in like Trent Burns is gonna get some run when he gets healthy too. So I don't know that they're gonna have a set rotation up until Kansas or Notre Dame. Like I feel like he's gonna keep rotating guys in.
They 100% aren't. You've covered him for 4 years. You know they're not going to, Drew.
Yeah.
David Newman says, I love Jaden Stone's action. Predict he becomes a fan favorite. You mentioned the turnovers, but like Jaden Stone, he scored a lot and he was active. And again, this is the second basketball game he's played in like a year and a half.
Yeah. I asked Jaden, I was like, this is your second big scoring game in a row. What do you feel like is connecting well with you early on? And he's like, well, coming from a system where I had to take the majority of the shots, it's kind of nice being the third or the fourth or the fifth option on the team, right? You're a lot more open when that's the case. And so he's just been a really good fit so far. And actually, Gabe, I do have to give credit to somebody. MIZ on the message board, I thought, made a really good point commenting on my instant reaction. He said, it's impressive that Gates can put together the exact same team every year with different guys. And I agree with that. Like, it looks just like a Dennis Gates team that we've seen each of the past 3 years.
Like, is that good though?
We'll find out. Like, obviously it's a little bit of differences, but like they're still going to play
based on
fast.
Who you're saying said it on the message board, I don't think it was intended as a compliment.
Sure, but I think it works both ways. Like,
right.
They're still going to play fast. They're still going for turnovers. They're still shooting a bunch of threes. And by the way, like, that was a pretty good shooting night for Mizzou. Everybody had a lot of concerns about that going into this year. That was a good first step for them. So, it's going to look a lot like it has the past couple seasons. The question is the ceiling a little bit higher than it has been?
Yeah, Drew, I do want to give you some semi-breaking news here that I
Okay,
would like your reaction to.
sure.
The Stephen Pearl era is not off to the greatest start because Auburn and Bethune-Cookman are currently headed to overtime.
Oh, and see, that's
At least
at
that
Auburn.
didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yes, that's a home
and
game.
that would make more sense if Auburn was on the road, I guess, but it still don't make any sense. Yeah, that's a surprising one.
Yeah, I am looking at some other scores. Louisville 51, South Carolina State 13 currently. That's not an excellent game. But like, look, this is the weird thing about college basketball. Unless you're playing in the Champions Classic or something, like the season kind of trickles, right? It's not this huge thing. Like, I don't know. Missouri was on the road, and so that's good. I feel like it's a little bit of a test. And Howard did have a couple guys that looked like they could play at the high major level. I mean, they were 6 of 7 from 3 at one point in the second half. So overall, was Gates fairly happy?
I think so. Like I said, like they got out of this what they wanted to. I think he's especially happy to just get a win here,
Mhm.
because when you play a 2-for-1, like that's kind of the most important thing. Because now you get back to Missouri next year. I got the contract game. They're only paying them $20,000 to play
Okay.
at Missouri next year, which is
So basically, they saved $100,000.
exactly. Um, I don't know about 100, but
Well,
a
because
big chunk
Dennis
of money.
Gates said they were going to have to pay him 120 at one point if they didn't make the return.
Yeah, the first game was 65,000. Last year's game, that's what they paid him. So, um, but yeah, like I think he was happy that with Trent Pierce, with Honor Boateng, with Trent Burns out, and with Ant and Mark not having their best game, um, they still got to show their depth and come out with a 21-point win. Like I don't think there's too much to be disappointed in.
Yep. All right. Well, Drew's got more to write. Flight to catch in the morning, an Uber to catch back to the hotel. So we're going to let you get to it, man. But appreciate you hopping on for a couple minutes.
Absolutely. All right.
All
Oh,
right.
wait, we got to point out. We got to point out. Great start for the Drew King factor this year.
1-0 on the road, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
Plus 21.
Did you see a road win at all last year?
Yeah. Well, a road win. Let me think. What road games did they have?
I don't remember. Yeah.
I mean, I was there for the Mississippi State win, but that was the SEC tournament, not really a road win. But
Yeah, because you didn't go when they won in Starkville by like 30 or whatever.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, 1-0 for Drew King. Big deal, man. Good to hear.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey,
All right,
just get yourself a folding chair at every game and sit in it on the baseline, and Missouri will always win. All right, that is Drew King from Washington, D.C. at Howard University. He's going to have coverage all night long for you guys. Come on and hang out. I'll be honest, I missed the last few minutes of this game because, as some of you may know, I was doing a show with Marquise Johnson. You can see that on our YouTube channel. It's over also on showus.tv. But I saw most of this. I saw plenty to know what was going on. As Jason Franken says, I need to ask for a raise from the boss for doing all these shows. I got bad news, Jason. That's me, man. I don't want to pay me any more money than I already do. Tony Mathis asking if there were any free throws in the game. Let me look up some stats for you. Free throws, 21 for Missouri. Oh, my goodness, 10 for 21 from the line. Now I know why you guys were making all the comments. I saw they missed their first three. Sean Phillips went 0 for 2 from the line to start. And then I think Luke Northweather was the second guy that went to the line and he missed one. The free throws, Sebastian Mack 1 for 4. I think Mack was a little bit concerning tonight. 4 for 11 from the floor, 0 for 3 from 3. He's not a big 3-point shooter, which I think we found out, but 4 for 11, there were times in the game I felt both him and Sean Phillips were forcing it a little bit. They probably need to look for more passes. Mack going 4 for 11 from the field. Sean Phillips with 6 turnovers. That's too many. 8 for 9 is great. 18 points, 11 rebounds is obviously really good, but I'm sorry, 16 points, 11 rebounds, but turning over 6 times, man, that's given a lot of them right back. So, I would think turnovers, free throws, and the ball movement did not look as crisp as I've seen some of Dennis Gates' teams look. Now, it is game one. It is in a tiny, really weird environment. So, that's the thing about, like, in football, we're making sweeping judgments every week. I'm not going to do that in basketball. It is one of 31. It is the first one of 31. They won it by 21 points. So nothing you see tonight should really concern you. It's just kind of data points to look for Friday night against SEMO. And then I think it's Sunday against VMI and next Wednesday against Minnesota. So it's 4 games in, would that be 10 days, I think? So it's just kind of data points to look at. Boof and Tobacco, I hope we don't suck. I think everyone certainly hopes that. I'm going to try to catch up on your comments in the chat, and we also do have a couple of voicemails that we will get to. We finally have a team that can match Norfolk sideline to sideline length. Can we go back? And look, that is the one thing that was incredibly noticeable in this game very early. Like, Missouri was just way too big for Howard. They could just kind of lob the ball down low and have a dunk. It seemed like almost whenever they wanted it. Then when a couple threes went down, obviously, it was easier. Let me look up the rebounding numbers. But, I mean, Missouri was dominating the boards early. Yeah, Missouri won the rebounding battle 47-28, 16 offensive rebounds for Missouri. They had the lead for 38-43. They were just physically a much bigger and better team than Howard was. There's no question. So here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to jump to we've just got like 3 or 4 voicemails. So I'm going to jump to those real quick, and then I'll come back and answer your questions and get to the chat.
Hey, Gabe, Old Jay here. Game's got about a minute and a half left. Other than the fact that for a while there, Mizzou just got too cute. Lot good things. I think number 45 needs to be a little bit more aggressive when he's going towards the hoop, because those little layups are going to get blocked every time. And for the love of Pete, could they stop leaving the corner freaking three-pointer high school open? Because my gosh, that was bad. Other than that, first game, it's all right. We got the W. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I would say I do know Howard got insanely hot for a while from 3-point range in the second half, and I'm sure Missouri's defense had a little something to do with that. By that point, it was kind of fairly obvious how that game was going to go. I would also say like 45 is Luke Northweather. Look, I just don't think he's going to be a significant part of the rotation as you get deeper into the season. Now, he did play 23 minutes tonight, but remember, Trent Pierce didn't play. Honor Boateng didn't play. This is a good opportunity to get Luke Northweather a little run. It did go 2 for 3 from 3-point range, so that's fine. 5 rebounds, which is not bad. Scored 7 points. So overall, I think you'll take that from Luke Northweather. I don't anticipate that he is going to be a guy that is probably heavily in the rotation as you get more into the bigger games of this season.
Gabe, it's Shift. About to have some post-game chili to celebrate a Tiger win. I got to meet the great Drew King tonight, which was maybe the highlight, because I thought the game, Drew was maybe the only one who showed up outside of Sean Phillips. I think Sean Phillips was easily the best player on the floor tonight. I don't think Howard had an answer for him. I would have just kept feeding him if I were Mizzou when Howard made that run. But here we are. Only other comment I have, I know it's only the first game of the season, but I keep thinking Honor Boateng is this giant weapon that Dennis Gates has been keeping trapped, and he's going to set free and put on a rampage. And he wasn't even in the rotation tonight. I just start to wonder, if not now, when, and is the clock ticking on him to make an impact? Take care.
Schiff actually he went to the game in DC, and as obviously was not on Power Mizzou shortly before the game. So yeah, if you missed it, Honor Boateng did not play tonight. Trent Pierce did not play tonight. Lower body injuries. Drew King said that Gates told him Pierce should be back for the next game, and Honor, they're kind of still evaluating it and seeing. Held him out precautionary tonight. He could play next game. Look, guys, this is the Dennis Gates experience. We're going to show up Friday night, and somebody's not going to play. We're not going to know who it is. We're not really going to know why. It's just going to happen. But no, Honor voting was not a coach's decision as far as healthy. He was. They held him out of the game. Is what happened.
Gabe, this is Dan out here in Manhattan, Kansas. I don't have any clever nicknames or anything. I sense a lot of negativity when I'm seeing on the board about the game tonight, and I'm not sure I really understand that. I realize that we outmatched these guys physically, but I thought the effort was fairly good, and I really like what I'm seeing out of Phillips, that he can, be dominant. And I listened to the Southeastern 16 guys. They were saying this is a legitimate team. That Harris kid is a really good player. Stone looked pretty good. This Northwetter looks like he might contribute. I want to see our injury situation cleared up, but generally, I think we're got a lot to build off of. So that's about it. I think MIZ, we're moving the right direction.
All right, Dan, appreciate the call, man. And yeah, I generally agree. Look, message boards are always going to be negative. Social media is always going to be negative during a game and immediately after a game. You won a game by 21 points on the road against a team that's they're not awful. They can't, like Dan said, they can't physically match Missouri, but that's not a terrible basketball team. They he mentioned Bryce Harris, and then they had another kid who was 6 of 12. Cotton was 6 of 12 from 3-point range. Harris was 4 for 9. So two guys went 10 for 21 from 3-point range. Those are legit players. Those two guys scored 47 of Howard's 67 points. 21-point road win. Anthony Robinson did very little. Mark Mitchell, frankly, most of the night was really not good. He just, I don't know. He looked out of sorts from the start. And I know he ended up with 12 points. Most of that, I think, was after I had to turn the game off because I think Mark had 4, midway through the second half. I'm sorry, Mark Mitchell ended up with 9 points, not 12, but 9.6 boards. But you need more out of him, certainly, as the season goes on. And I think you'll get it. But I agree with Dan. Over isn't a panic. There are things you can nitpick and things you probably don't like a ton. But yeah, overall, I don't think there is anything hugely to worry about. I know it's Howard, but I think he'll be able to compete in the SEC. I think he's talking about Sean Phillips and that. Yeah, look, Sean Phillips early in the game showed he had legitimate post moves. He had a kind of a spin and go back to the other side and hit one off the glass. He had a nice little drop step, went underneath, got a dunk. And is it going to work against every single SEC? But they're going to play better players, but he had the best. He made moves that Missouri big men haven't been able to make under Dennis Gates. And like Drew said, it is a low bar, but he is easily the best big man that Missouri has had in the Dennis Gates era. I do not expect 16 and 12 and 20 minutes every night. If you can get half that, if you can get 8 and 6 out of Phillips every night, I think you'd probably take that. I could be wrong, but I think so. Atrocious from the line. Yeah, Morgan says they shot better from 3 than from the free throw line. Okay, T.A. Hart says, I disagree with Gates on loading up on weak opponents in the non-con. Look, I agree with you. I don't like the scheduling. We talked about this. I forget. I think it was on our show Monday night, maybe, but I can't remember. I've talked about it a lot of places. But he's obligated to play Kansas, he's obligated to play Illinois, and he's obligated to play in the ACC event, which is Notre Dame. So basically, what he chose to do in the games he wasn't mandated to play was host Minnesota. I agree with you. But this is year 4, and this is how he schedules. I'm kind of over being mad about it because I'm over being surprised about it. Year one, there was a reason. Last year, I guess, coming off 0-19, there was kind of a reason. This year, there really is. This year, it's just, this is how it's going to be. And I would like to see the in-season tournament, the MTEs. I would like to see another game or two against a Power 5 opponent, Power 4 opponent. Like, this was a road game, but that doesn't do much for me. I mean, it was very obvious 5 minutes in, Missouri was going to win this game. So I agree with you, but I'm also kind of past the point of like complaining about it because it's just what it is. Let's see. I need to bring a few more antlers into practice for the noise at the free throw line. By the way, guys, if you didn't see it, the student section has been moved back closer to the court. Basically, what I understand is that it is only like one row further back than it used to be. So it's not like it looked in the exhibition game. It's closer. That issue has been rectified. They brought the Antlers and some other people over to see it today. Also, it was on display at the women's game. Missouri women tonight, 78-71 winners over Central Arkansas. Not super great. Missouri went 33 for 45 from the free throw line. Got outscored from the field, got outscored from the three-point line. Like, they had a 33-7 edge at the free throw line, and they won by 7 points. So that's not really super great for that program. But we're talking about the other program right now. Feeding one guy in a game like this is not how the team grows. I agree. And I think, Mark, you're saying Missouri didn't do that. Really, maybe you're saying they did, but I mean, Phillips had 9 field goal attempts. They had 9 guys play, and every one of them took at least 4 shots. Javon Porter, actually the fewest field goal attempts on the team. He went 2 for 4. So yeah, this was a game to play, everybody. Stretch it out. Mark says Gates was testing the team. This is what he does, guys. He experiments. The first 8 games are, let me tinker, let me see what I've got, let me see who plays well with who. And look, I understand if you would rather have that happen in practice and the games are for, you've already got that figured out, but this is what Gates does to some extent. Who will score more points in a Mizzou uniform, MPJ or Trent Burns? Look, I don't have proof that Trent Burns is actually eligible to be in games. We will see. I assume at some point he will be in a game. Jason says Howard's a solid basketball team. They're going to win a lot of games against equal competition. Yeah, like they've got 2 guys that I would assume will do very well in the MEAC. I think Cotton and I keep forgetting that kid's name. Cotton and Bryce Harris can play. Like, I don't know that they're power conference players, but they could find roles, I think, on a power conference team. So, they're not a great team, but it's a little bit of a test. Freeway Jared, my wife is starting to think I like Gabe more than her because I leave the room whenever he's talking. Jared, might be an issue, man. Like, I appreciate you. You're here a lot, but like, hang out with your wife some too. It's cool. I'll be here. You can watch a replay, catch a podcast if you want to do that. You're talking tournament team, Howard, the last 2 years. I mean, it's the best team in the MEAC. So yeah, again, I'm not complaining about this game. Missouri won by 20 points on the road and didn't get much out of its 2 best players. Everything's solid. That's fine. You did what you needed to do. Covered the spread. I think it was 19.5. So, did pretty much exactly what was expected, despite not having a starter, not having a rotational player, and your 2 best players not giving you what you expect them to give you on a regular basis. So I don't really see a lot of reason to be upset. Mr. Gabe, you're kind of over the Gate shtick. He's no, look, it's his program. He can do what he wants, but like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The injury stuff, the randomly showing up and not knowing who's going to play is weird. That the wandering soliloquies that don't actually address the questions that were asked. Yeah, it's it's not great, but whatever. We're going to cover the team, and but I'm also, again, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's not weird that, hey, we're going to show up on Friday night and have no idea who might not be playing in that game. So yeah, I don't know. I've been doing this long enough. I'll just tell you what I think. If somebody gets mad about it, they can say something to me, but I don't think anybody really pays attention, to be quite honest. Howard was not a tournament team last year. They were 12-20. I that is true, but Bryce Howard did not play last year. He got hurt, which is why he's on this team. It's just worth pointing out. Dan says the spread closed at 20.5. There you go. Missouri by 21. So perfect. K-Money, more Stone, less Mac, please. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to make that declaration after one game or, well, 2 games now. But yeah, like, Mac is going to drive a lot. He's going to get to the line a lot, and there is a place for that. But, like, I don't think he's a guy I want taking 11 shots on many nights. And maybe that won't happen when Ant's playing better, when Pierce is in the lineup. Maybe Mac's not a guy that takes 11 shots, but I don't see that as his role. He's not a good enough shooter. I mean, he's 0 for 3 from three-point range, and he looked like he was forcing it a little bit tonight. And whatever, one night. Again, I'm not making judgments on anybody, but yeah, so far been very pleasantly surprised with Jaden Stone. Would not have expected as much as Missouri has gotten out of him in these first couple showings, just because he hasn't played for so long, and like, he hasn't played at this level, right? He scored 1 million points on a terrible Detroit Mercy team. Then he went to, I think, Grand Canyon and scored some. Then he went to West Virginia and didn't play. So we had no idea what to expect out of him at this level. I think he's probably been your biggest pleasant surprise. Like, some people might be surprised by Sean Phillips. I feel like we heard a lot about him in the preseason, and he played in the power conference and showed some of this last year. So I think Jaden Stone probably a bigger surprise than Sean Phillips has been so far. Phillips certainly playing well and giving you things that you haven't had in the past. But as far as guys that you're getting more than you expect, I would put Jaden Stone at the top of that list, certainly. I think the end of the bench talent on this team is much higher than it has been under Gates. Yeah, look, this team they played 9 guys tonight, and Pierce, Boateng, and Burns weren't available. I take Trent Burns out of this conversation because I don't know what he is. Like, I haven't seen him play, so I'm not going to include him for now. They expect him to be a contributor and all that, but I have to see it before I'm going to include him in this conversation. But the 9 guys they played tonight, plus Pierce and Boateng, like I said, I think Northweather loses minutes when Pierce comes back. Like, I think Northweather's if Burns comes back too, Northweather might be the 12th guy here, but he's probably the 11th guy if we're not including Burns in the rotation. Jacob Cruz, I think, will play more than 12 minutes. 4 for 7, 2 for 3 is an efficient offensive night for Jacob Cruz. I'll take that every night. Javon Porter played 28 minutes, only took 4 shots, which I actually like. Like, that's good. Clear sign he wasn't forcing it. They're going to need the guys at the top, Robinson and Mitchell, to be better. If you want to throw Pearson is that potential, like, third big scorer at this point, you might throw Phillips in there. I'm not quite ready to throw Stone in there, but they do have a lot of options. They have guys. I don't think there's any question about that. Bench points tonight, Missouri had 39 bench points, 49 points from the starters. Late in the first half, they actually had more bench points than they got from the starters. That did end up flipping. 5 starters had 16, 8, 9, 7, and 9. Then off the bench, you had Stone with 13, Cruz with 10, Barrett with 9, Northweather with 7. So strong bench contribution. Like, I think they're going to have a lot of options. And I'll be honest, guys. Dennis Gates with a lot of options kind of scares me because the non-conference, we're going to see a million different lineups. Mark, the big issue with this team will be enough guard play to keep you in games against quick, high-scoring teams. Closing out on threes will be an issue. That's where I hope Rowe gets playing time. I don't think Aaron Rowe's going to play a whole lot this year. I mean, guys, he needs to spend a full year in the weight room. Brant, do we know what the issue with Burns is? Yeah, he's recovering from a foot injury. It's the same thing last year. He had surgery. The target date is sometime around now. What that means could mean Friday, could mean February. I really have no idea. I will believe Trent Burns is ready to go when I see him on the floor. That's really all there is. I don't know who handles the ball against pressure when Ant inevitably gets into foul trouble. I think Tio's capable of it. I know he didn't do great tonight. I think Tio's capable. But you're going to need some other guys to help out, whether that's Mac or Stone, maybe. Yeah, Ant, I mean, he had 4 fouls tonight. At one point I looked and he had 4 fouls and 3 points. Look, there are going to be games he's going to get in foul trouble. It cannot be a consistent thing. If it's a consistent thing, I think that really hurts. But yeah, Tio Barrett is the secondary point guard. I do not I like Tio's game. I think he's going to be a nice piece to this team. Tonight he played 18 minutes, 4 for 6 from the field, which is great. That was one of the big question marks. 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. Like, I had to miss the last 8 to 10 minutes of that game, 10 to 12 minutes, something like that, because we were doing the show with Marquise Johnson. So he may have had more issues than I saw. 2 turnovers is not terrible in 18 minutes. I mean, maybe like see it cut down, but again, I could have been missing some things that you guys are talking about. And T.A. Hart says, I thought other than a couple of sloppy plays, Tio looked pretty good tonight. He's a guy I like. Like, he's not a guy that's going to go score 20, but I think he makes a lot of winning plays, and I think he's a very good secondary option. You know, when you either want to put Ant off the ball or when he does need to sit down or when he does get 2 fouls in 4 minutes, you know, I think Tio can do things to help this team. So, look, this not planning to make this last all night. It was Howard. It was a 21-point win. But I appreciate you guys hanging out here with us tonight. We're going to do one after Friday night's game against SEMO because it's the home opener and it'll be, you know, our first night to obviously Drew was there tonight and saw him in person, but I'll see him in person. We'll do one on Friday night after that. And then we'll see, probably, you know, stretch it out. Certainly Kansas, probably Notre Dame, Illinois, you know, some of the bigger games. And then we'll be a little bit more regular with the basketball post-game shows once SEC play starts, certainly. But we will definitely get you a handful of them during the non-con and keep up. Now the basketball season is here. Missouri 1-0, 88-67 winner over Howard. While you guys are here, I want to ask you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Spent a lot of time here on the channel tonight, so hope you guys are doing what you can to kind of get the word out and share what we're doing here. And want to thank our friends. Look, these things work because of the people that have been nice enough to be partners with us and sponsor us throughout the years. And that certainly includes our friends at the Bruning Law Firm in the lovely city of St. Louis, Kansas, Illinois, Missouri. If you live there, the Bruning Law Firm, a personal injury firm, they're going to give you a free consultation. Absolutely no obligation, but just give them a call, 573-400-2796. That is 573-400-2796. The Bruning family, like big Mizzou fans, they've been on the board for a long time. They can reveal themselves if they want to, but look, we hope you're not in a situation where you need their help, but if you are, who better? A fellow Mizzou fan, supporters of Power Mizzou, give them a call. Once again, 573-400-2796. They're going to be sponsoring our post-game shows all year long. So, number 1 in the books, Missouri 1-0, game 2 Friday night. Appreciate you hanging out. While you're here, check out the show with Marquise Johnson from earlier. State of the Tigers going to be tomorrow. We moved it because Drew was in D.C. college football playoff rankings going to come out between 7 and 7:45 tomorrow night. So me and Cody, Andrew, be live right around 8 o'clock. And we'll talk to you tomorrow night. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.